Hello everyone, this is Michael, and I've decided to review games under my new personnel. I've decided to become a man that will review games by hunting down their flaws. And when I'm done with them, I'm gonna suggest on how they can improve on them. You may call me the Flawhunter. For the first episode, we shall start with Mario Kart Wii, and then Mario Kart 7. But first, let's talk about Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart Wii. What a fun racing game it is. You can play as all your favorite Mario characters, and there are a lot of fun race courses to race through, both old and new, and there are a lot of items to use, which can be used against your opponents and to help you win the race. First off, while this game has plenty of good items, there are some bad items in this game. And one, for example, is everyone's least favorite item, the blue shell. Oh, how I hate the blue shell. The blue shell's main purpose is to take down the player in first place. If you're the ones being targeted by the blue shell, then there's no escape. No matter how good you're doing, it'll always hit you no matter what. And there's only one way to avoid it, but it's really hard to do, and it requires a mushroom to do so. The blue shell pretty much punishes you for trying to win, and it can cost you the race during the final lap. Like, you're winning the race, you're doing good, and just when you're almost reaching the finish line, a blue shell pops out and is all like, "Oh, you want to win this race? Well, fuck you, I'm gonna blow you up!" And then BAM! You get hit by the blue shell, and a lot of races pass you, and then you just lost the race, and it's like, ah! It just gets really irritating getting hit by those blue shells. The only time that's okay to get hit by a blue shell is that if you're so far ahead of the other racers, is that even if you get hit by a blue shell, you'll still be in the lead, but it just gives the other racers a better chance of catching up with you. But now let's take a look at the new items, which includes the Mega Mushroom, the Power Block, and the Thunder Cloud. The Mega Mushroom is pretty much the inferior version of the stars, since you have a better chance of getting the Mega Mushroom at the middle ranks than the lower ranks. What the Mega Mushroom does is, of course, let you grow big, and also let you squash anyone in your path. And if you get hit by a lightning strike, you just grow back to normal size instead. And, yeah. The Mega Mushroom is probably the only good new item in this game, as the other two are just bad and unfair. The Power Block, much like the Mega Mushroom, is an inferior version of another powerful item called the Thunderbolt. And pretty much, well, the Thunderbolt strikes down all players and makes them shrink, and usually only obtained to the player in last place. The Power Block, on the other hand, is usually paired around the middle ranks or the lower ranks. And pretty much what it does is that whenever a player activates the Power Block, all the players ahead of the player that uses it will be knocked out by the Power Block, and it'll all spin out of control, and you also lose the item that you are currently carrying because you got hit by a Power Block. I hate this item. I hate getting knocked out by it. I hate losing my item from it, and the only way to avoid it is to be in the air, or by using your motorcycle to perform a trick that will pretty much make the shockwave effect less effective on you. But still, you have to be lucky to survive the shocking powers of the Power Block. And then we have the Thunder Cloud. Good lord, I hate this item. This has got to be the worst Mario Kart item ever invented. It's so bad that it was meant to be bad. What the Thunder Cloud does is that it appears on the top of your head, and if you do not get rid of it after a certain amount of time, this thing will shock and shrink you, and it will be excruciating. In order to get rid of it, you have to pass it over to the next player. But even then, you have to be lucky to make sure you can, and if you do pass it over to the next player, you better make sure you do not get hit by that player, otherwise it will go back to you, and it will shock and shrink you. Good lord, I hate this Thunder Cloud. And that is why I hate this item, and I am glad it did not return in the next game. Now we look at the battle mode, and while the battle mode is not bad at all, but it has one major flaw. It's teams only. Yep, no free-for-all in battle mode whatsoever. Why? Why is there no free-for-all in battle mode? Why does it have to be teams only? Oh yeah, and I also wish that items like the blue shell and the lightning bolt and the power block weren't in battle mode. I mean, seriously, that's just unfair, especially the power block. Like in one match where I was in an online coin match and we were like winning, we're doing well, and all of a sudden near the end, someone activated a power block, and then we lost all our coins, and then we just lost a race. Ugh. It's just unfair. Now let's take a look at the tournament/competition challenges. Every 2 weeks or so, Nintendo releases a new challenge for us to try out in Mario Kart Wii. These challenges are similar to the missions from Mario Kart DS, except though they're not just about being it, they're also about like trying to get the best times on it and whatnot, just to compete for the leaderboards of that challenge. But the major flaw of these competition/tournament challenges is that each challenge only stays there for like around 2 weeks. And then after that, when that tournament ends, we cannot play that challenge anymore. And that's just not fair. What the hell? I mean, seriously, what the hell? Why do you have to take away these challenges once the tournament ends? Why can't that challenge just stay there forever and then we could just play as many times as we want to at any time? I mean, seriously, this could have been like free DLC that like every 2 weeks or so they release a new challenge for us to play. And this would have been nice. And it's a shame, too, because sometimes they even release a boss challenge. Yeah, a boss challenge where we battle or race against a boss. Now let's take a look at the online multiplayer. While it is great that we can race against others around the world in Mario Kart Wii, but it does come with its own problems. For one, when it comes to trying to host an online race with your friends, you don't have a lot of options like you do in the offline versus mode. I mean, seriously, why can't we have options in the online games like how we can like change how the items appear, or just have no items at all, or if we can have computer players here and there or not. But the worst of all is that you can't even choose racetracks at all. It's always random, even by vote. I mean, seriously, why can't there be an option where the host can decide the racetracks instead of just being decided by random? It's just not fair. One thing that annoys me in the online multiplayer is the ranking system. As you see, in the ranking system, you pretty much earn points just by simply winning races or come close to winning. But if you lose the race or didn't do a good job in the race, then you will lose points. However, it may not be so bad at first, but once you get to the higher ranks, that's where it gets really annoying, and you start to notice a flaw in the ranking system. As you reach higher places, the ranking system will now expect you to beat the race in higher places, such as first and second, and any lower than that will cause you to lose the race. But the penalty for losing can be punishing in an unfair way. Like, you could lose the race even though you were doing good in the race and you were probably first and you were almost at the finish line. And then you get hit by an item you couldn't avoid, like a red shell or power block, or the worst of them all, the blue shell. And then plenty of racers would probably pass you, and then you would lose the race, and you will lose a bunch of VR points. That's not fair! I only lost because of a stupid item! I don't deserve to lose so many points! But the worst way to lose ranking points is if you accidentally got disconnected from the online race you were on, and now you lose a bunch of ranking points. Oh, come on! That's totally unfair! Wow, Nintendo must have knew some people would get away with losing points just by disconnecting from the race, so they decided to add this ranking penalty. Did they even think about what would happen if this were an accident? I mean, if people got disconnected from the race by accident, they don't deserve to lose points at all. I wish there was an option to turn off rankings, so if that's enabled, winning or losing the race would not affect our rankings whatsoever. Well, I think I'm done flaw hunting Mario Kart Wii. Now let's take a look at Mario Kart 7. In my opinion, I do like Mario Kart 7 better than Mario Kart Wii, mainly because of some of the improvements they did make. Like, for example, I do like the new items such as the Tanuki Leaf, the Fire Flower, and the Lucky 7. And the new items that appeared in Mario Kart Wii do not make a return in this game, which I'm kinda glad because I did not like the Power Block and the Thundercloud in that game. Well, I did like the Mega Mushroom, though. It was a pretty good item. One recurring item in particular that does not make a return in this game is none other than the fake item box. And I have to admit, it wasn't really an effective item. Sure, it can be used to fool the other players into thinking it's a real item box. But really though, when you see an item box that's placed in an area where you don't usually see an item box in, and plus it glows red as you get closer to it, Yeah, it's obviously a fake iron box. So yeah, of course they're not gonna fall for it unless they hit it by accident. And plus you can't really defend yourself with it just by placing the back of you like with a green shell or banana. So, yeah. Also, the blue shells is not as annoying as it was in Mario Kart Wii, since I think it now appears kinda less often, and instead of flying through the air, it now rolls on the racetrack so it will knock out any racer that gets in its way. So yeah, nice improvement, but I still hate the blue shell though. Speaking of items, I do like how you can now choose which items you want to only appear in the racetrack, such as mushrooms only, or bananas only, or shells only, etc. But it would have been nice if you can, like, give you a list of which items you want turned on or off. So if you don't want blue shells in the racetrack, you could just turn the blue shells off. And if you want a particular item turned on, you could just turn it on. So yeah, that would have been nice. Now let's get to the flaw, shall we? For one, when I started playing Mario Kart 7, I started playing on the 100cc difficulty instead of the 50cc difficulty because I thought 50cc was too easy. But then after I beaten Mario Kart 7 Mirror Mode on all 8 cups, I still haven't gotten the title screen, plus I haven't got the 100% completion yet. So I started to realize that in order to get the 100% completion in Mario Kart 7 Grand Prix mode, you have to beat all 8 cups on all 4 difficulty settings, and that includes 50cc. Seriously? I skipped 50cc for nothing? I still have to beat the game on 50cc in order to get the 100% completion? Oh, come on, why can't I just skip that difficulty? Another flaw I noticed is that you can't play versus mode on single player. I mean, seriously, why? Well, the one problem that appeared in the early Mario Kart games is that you can't play versus mode in single player. And that was a shame, though, because I would have liked to choose any track I want and play a normal race there. That and you couldn't play battle mode in single player as well, which is a shame, really. Eventually in Mario Kart DS, they've finally given us the option to play versus and battle mode in single player. But in Mario Kart 7, well, yeah, you could still play battle mode in single player, but you cannot play versus mode in single player. I mean, seriously, did Nintendo just forgot to add versus mode in single player? I mean, what the hell? But the biggest problem I have with this game is the character roster. As you see, there are 16 playable characters in this game. 17 if you count me. And while they added a few new characters in the game, but they had to reject a few recurring ones just to include those new guys, because they felt they haven't got enough space to include more characters in this game. It's a shame that characters like Birdo, Toadette, and Drybone still appear in this game, and I would have liked to see Bowser Jr. in that game since he was a recurring character at this point. But one character that I think that should have appeared in this game is Waluigi. I mean, seriously, why? Why did they decide to not include him in this game? I mean, heck, he may not be my favorite character, but still, I think Waluigi should have been in this game. Waluigi has like made his Mario Kart debut in Mario Kart Double Dash, and then he appeared in the next Mario Kart game, Mario Kart DS, and then he appeared in the next Mario Kart game, Mario Kart Wii, and then the next Mario Kart game, which is Mario Kart 7, he did not appear in this game. And if you want a better reason on why Waluigi should have appeared in this game, his course, Waluigi Pinball, is in this game, and yet Waluigi himself is not in it. What the hell? So what do we get instead? Well, let's talk about the new characters, shall we? Well, first we have Shy Guy, who originally appeared in Mario Kart DS, but only playable in the DS downloadable player. But now he's like a full playable character in this game. Then we have Lakitu, which not to be mistaken for the Lakitu that starts the races, finishes the races, and rescues you from bottomless pits. Then we have Wingler, who is probably my favorite new character in this game, mainly because I like it how he gets angry every time he gets hit or loses the race. I do feel you, bro. But then we have unnecessary new characters like Queen Bee, which I didn't think she was a public character to begin with, and I didn't think she would be that interested in racing. And then we have Metal Mario. Really? Metal Mario? That's just Mario with a metal power-up on. How is that supposed to be cool? Waluigi got replaced by a Queen Bee and a metal version of Mario? God damn it. Listen, I know you like to add some new characters and all, but if you want to add new characters, don't reject recurring characters like Bowser Jr. and Waluigi! I mean, heck, you could have at least tried to add 3 or 4 more characters in the game, with Waluigi and Bowser Jr. being one of them. Well, I think I'm done flaw hunting Mario Kart 7. Now for my flaw rating on Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 7 are unreasonably flawed. While Mario Kart Wii and 7 may have been good games, but they have no good reasons on why they should have these flaws. If those 2 games didn't have those flaws in the first place, then they would have been much better games. Well, that is all, folks. I'll see you next time. This is the Flawhunter, signing out.